Hey everybody. So we got one more chapter to go from the CUDA software series. Um, the last part of indefinite integrals is going to be integration by parts. Okay. So when do we use by parts? Well, there's two main requirements. First, the power rule of integration has to not work. Okay. Second, use substitution also has to not work. Now, I do want to put this out there and say that some questions where you can perform use substitution, you can also perform integration by parts. So integration by parts is going to be the last resort. Okay. So what is integration by parts? Well, let's go over the formula right off the bat. So the formula is the integral of u dv is equal to uv minus integral of v du. So the derivation for this formula, you are not responsible to know. But basically what you have is you have two different functions, u and v. It's ultimately going to come down to two functions, and this only works when there are two functions involved. So what are these two functions, and how do we designate these functions? So this is where the acronym comes into play. So we got LIATE. So L stands for log, I stands for inverse trig, A stands for algebraic expression, T stands for trig, and an E stands for exponential functions. Exponential functions, okay. So the highest priority is up top here. So we'll talk about what that means. So the highest prioritized function is going to be designated to u. Designated to u. Okay, so that's what this is going to determine. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go into this question here. So the first question that we have is integral of x times e to the x. Okay, so from our hierarchy here, x is going to be our algebraic expression, and then e to the x is going to be our exponential function. So what's higher up in the priority list? It's going to be the algebraic expression. So the algebraic expression is going to be, the x is going to be designated as u, and then the exponential function, the e to the x, along with the dx in the back, is going to be designated as your dv. Okay, and then you're going to be filling in these things as you go. Okay, so for the purpose of getting used to this, let's go over some of the other questions and then designate our u and dv. So if you look at this question over here, we got the radical x and we got the ln x dx over here. This is an algebraic expression and this is a log expression. L is prioritized at the top here. So that's going to be given the u as they did over here. And then the radical x and the dx over here are going to be designated the dv. Okay. So with that in mind, let's try a question here. So algebraic expression, this over here is our exponential function, exponential. So this is going to be our u, and this is going to be our dv, okay? So with that in mind, I'm going to write uv minus integral of v du. All right, so x is our u, so I'm going to plug that in there. And then v, we don't have v right here. We have a dv. So I'm going to set e to the minus x dx to the side and then integrate this. So if you integrate this, you can use u substitution here, or you could just have this memorized. You'll see that you get negative e to the minus x plus c. So what you do is you take the minus e to the minus x and you bring it over here. So that's minus e to the minus x. So that's our u. This is our v minus integral of v. So our v is here. So we got minus e to the minus x. That's going to combine with this minus in the front to make positive e to the minus x. And we got our du. We know our u. our du is going to be the derivative of our u. The derivative of x is 1 dx. Awesome. So you end up with, if you simplify this, you get negative x e to the negative x. And then the integral of e to the negative x, you ignore the 1, is going to give you negative e to the negative x plus c. Not too shabby. So this is where integration by parts gets interesting with questions like this. So this is our algebraic expression. This is our trig. So you'll see that trig is less prioritized than algebraic expressions. So that's going to be our u. That's going to be our v. Okay. So again, let's write uv minus integral of v du. Okay. So if you need to, if I'm going too fast, you know, feel free to pause the video and then check your work as you go. So u is going to be x squared. Our v, the integral of this, because so this is our dv, I'm sorry. So that's our dv. So to find v, we got to integrate this. And if you integrate that, you'll see that you get, so the integral of cosine 3x is going to give you sine 3x over 3. Okay? And then you don't write the plus c. Minus the integral of what again? The sine 3x all over 3. And then our du is going to be the derivative of x squared, which is 2x dx. Okay, so if I simplify this a little bit here. So I'm going to put this 2, going to put this 3 out in the front. And we get the integral of x sine 3x dx. So I'm just going to put this x and then take it to the front for the purpose of the next steps. Okay. So what you'll notice is that this integral here can't be solved using power rule or u substitution because the exponent on this x and this x are the same. So what do we do in this case? We do integration parts one more time. So I'm just going to carry out integration parts with just that part, and I'm just going to momentarily ignore this left part for a bit. So once again, we're going to designate u to our x because that's our algebraic expression that's more highly prioritized. And this is going to be our dv. Okay. So that's going to give us u, which is our x, v. So the integral of sine 3x is going to be negative cosine 3x over 3. So I'm just going to put the negative in the front, cosine 3x all over 3. Okay, so that's our uv. That's our uv right here. Okay, within this integral. Within this integral. Okay, so let's keep on going. Subtracted by the integral of minus the v. The v is minus cosine 3x over 3. The minus in the front combines with this minus that's already there in the formula to become positive. Cosine 3x over 3. But I'm just going to put that in the front. Okay. And then 1 on the top. And then our du. Because our u is x, if we derive that, that's going to be our 1 dx. So I'm just going to put dx there. So finally, we're able to just use our trig integral formula rule to find what that is. So the integral of cosine 3x is going to be positive sine 3x over 3 plus c. Okay. So the problem is all of this here, it's not the answer. This is just this blue boxed part. Okay. So if we put all that together, so let's ignore this question here. So I'm just going to rewrite this here. X squared sine 3x all over 3 minus 2/3. And then within this box, I'm going to put all of this in there. So minus x cosine 3x all over 3 plus 3 times 3 at the bottom is 9 sine 3x. And then the plus c, I'm just going to write out in the front. Okay, because it doesn't really matter. What matters is what c is at the end. And at this point, you just simplify. So ignore this question as well. We got x squared sine 3x all over 3. And then let's distribute this 2/3 in there. So that's going to give us positive 2x cosine 3x all over 9. And then minus 2/3 times the positive 9 over here is going to give us negative 2 over 27 sine 3x plus c. And that is your answer. So this is honestly as hard as it gets with integration by parts. So oftentimes the harder, quote unquote, harder questions you're going to get are going to involve carrying out integration by parts. And then within the result, you're going to carry out integration by parts one more time. And it's up to you to keep track of everything you're doing as you go. Because it's very easy to get to this point and go, oh, okay, that's our answer. I'm done. But you would not be done here because that's just this part here. So you got to look at the bigger picture. And there's going to be other questions where it's going to be pretty simple. It ends within a couple steps. Okay. So that's going to be our integration by parts lesson. Hopefully that was helpful. And if you need help with any other subjects or any other topics within calculus, hit me up and I will post a video. So thanks for sticking around and I'll see you guys next time.